The story is told of a mechanech here in London who taught in a rather secular Jewish school which happened to have 1 minyan for mincha at lunchtime. It was a short winter's day, and this mechanech missed the lunchtime mincha and had to daven mincha b'yechidus later. He went to the Beis HaMedrash and the lights were off, the sun was setting, he davened mincha as normal, and it came to Tachanun, and because there's a Sefer Torah there, he rested his head in his forearm as normal for Tachanun, and just at that moment, a student, a very secular student, came into the Beis HaMedrash. He saw the meek rays of the sun setting, coming through the high windows of the room, and saw his Rabbi in a picture of submission and sincerity, and was so taken by this sight that that was the catalyst that actually began his journey to religion and to Yiddishkeit, and he became a frum young man. And I think that answers an interesting question in this week's Parsha. How so? Because the Gemara in Bava Metzia, Daf Pei Vav Amud Beis, tells us that whatever Avram Avinu did personally for his guests, later HaKadosh Baruch Hu rewarded Klal Yisrael personally. But whatever Avram Avinu did through a shliach, HaKadosh Baruch Hu also used the shliach. So for example, the Pasuk says, Vayikach chema v'chelev. So too, Hinimamti lochem lechem in haaretz. Since Avram Avinu personally gave these things, later HaKadosh Baruch Hu personally delivered the mon to Klal Yisrael without the need for a shliach. However, Yukach no ma'atzmayim, when it came to the water, Avram Avinu asked his son Yishmael to do it. So later on, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the shliach, Moshe Rabbeinu, to deliver water to Klal Yisrael. Now this seems to suggest that it's a veiled criticism of Avram Avinu. Had he done it himself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would have delivered the water personally. But since he used the shliach, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu also used the shliach. The difficulty is, why is it a criticism of Avram Avinu? Surely Rashi tells us in the Parsha that he involved Yishmael kedei lechanchoi b'mitzvahs. And educating a child to be involved in the mitzvah of achnos archnos, surely that's a good thing. Why criticize Avram Avinu? The answer I once heard by many, but I heard it in the name of Dayan Ephraim Padva, one of the Avbeistins here in London, is this. The best way to be mechanech a child is not to tell him to do something, is not to preach at the child, but to practice it yourself. If you role model excitement and passionate involvement in mitzvahs, that is the most effective way of being mechanech a child. And therefore, Avram Avinu needed to involve Yishmael, but he could involve him by role modeling this behavior and in a way that is more impactful. I once heard from Rabbi Bixenspan a beautiful pshat in a Gemara in Chagiga, well-known Gemara. The Gemara says that when it came to Hakel, the Pasuk says, Hakel es'om hanoshim v'hanoshim v'hataf. So says the Gemara, I can understand why the men and the women came. Im hanoshim bo'em nilmoid, the men came to learn. Noshim bo'es dishmoa, they came to listen. Taf lama bo'en, why you bring the children? So the Gemara answers, Kadei litein schar lemevyehin, to give reward to those who bring them. But I once heard Rabbi Bixenspan say, this is how you understand the Gemara. Im anoshim bo'em lilmoid, if the men come to learn, noshim bo'es lishmoya, and the women come to listen, taf lama bo'en, why do you need to bring the children? They're seeing their parents involved, enthusiastic, excited to come to Hakel, so therefore you don't even need to bring the children because the deed has been done. The message has been imparted. They see their parents so enthusiastic and excited to keep this mitzvah. I think therefore the message is, seeing parents or mechanchim passionately involved with sincerity in mitzvahs, that is the most effective way of being mechanech a child or a talmid.